Unless you're an idiot and you believe that comedians are somehow the luckiest people on the planet and their life is just a revolving door of potential punchlines, we all assume that their "this really happened" stories are just that, stories.
How does he do it? How does he pretend to do it? How does he remain contrived? I'm not honest for a second up here. Honesty's for the birds, baby. You want an honest comedian? Go see the rest of them, all right? This thing actually happened. Cool.
We didn't care if something was true or not. All we used to care about is whether it was funny. But now people don't care if something is funny as much as they care about it being true. Comedians are commentators now because politics has been infused into absolutely everything, and the goal isn't laughter, it's clapter.
Abortion, I salute you! Women, if you need an abortion, get one! If you want an abortion, get one! If you're not pregnant but you think you eventually might be and want to order a future abortion, get one! If you're pregnant and you want to be pregnant, don't get one! It's up to you, and it doesn't have to be a big deal. It's actually a great deal. It's about $300. That's like 6 movie tickets. Movie tickets, a bad deal!
So clapter is when something isn't funny, but the audience will clap and cheer and laugh and say, "Oh, that's so true."
These are the clapter suggestions.
I'm sorry, clapter?
Clapter, that's when one of your jokes doesn't work, you don't get a laugh, you say something very obvious that everyone understands is correct. That way, at least you get applause.
People clap and cheer because they either agree, or more importantly, they want to prove to everyone else how much they agree.
The vaccine.
So a comedian will stand up and say something like racism is bad, and people will lose their minds. But now that a lot of comedians are just leading as hard as they can on this stuff, they're taking advantage of two kinds of comedy, the old way and the new way. We used to judge comedy as just entertainment, and we didn't care if they were telling the truth or not. But now comedy is being judged as commentary, used to push social change. People are assuming they're telling the truth to justify the change, and Hasan Minhaj is an obvious example, with his Netflix series The Patriot Act and stand-up specials, which are all built on supposedly autobiographical recounts of the struggles of being a Muslim American.
You need to respect Modi, India, and Hindus. I go, Carlos, you're Puerto Rican. He's like, I know, but I saw that shit on Instagram. It was funny. Yo, you got fan mail. I go, give me my fan mail, Carlos. He grabs a stack of letters. He hands them to me. I rip it open. I flip it over. And all this white powder falls into the stroller. And it falls on my daughter's shoulder. Her neck, her cheeks. And she's staring at me.
But an article in The New Yorker threatened to pull this new form of comedy to the ground recently. So the article is Hasan Minhaj's Emotional Truths. In his stand-up specials, the former Patriot Act host often recounts the harrowing experiences he's faced as an Asian American and Muslim American. Does it matter that much of it never happened to him? Here's one paragraph that upset a lot of people. In Minhaj's approach to comedy, he leans heavily on his own experience as an Asian American and Muslim American, telling harrowing stories of law enforcement entrapment and personal threats. For many of his fans, he has become an avatar for the power of representation in entertainment. But after many weeks of trying, I had been unable to confirm some of the stories that he had told on stage. When we met on a recent afternoon at a comedy club in the West Village, Minhaj acknowledged for the first time that many of the anecdotes he related in his Netflix specials were untrue. Still, he said that he stood by his work. Every story in my style is built around a seed of truth, he said. My comedy Arnold Palmer is 70% emotional truth, this happened, and then 30% hyperbole, exaggeration, fiction, emotional truth. And people did come out and defend Hasan Minhaj, like Whoopi Goldberg.
Hasan Minhaj, who is a stand-up, was recently sort of having to defend his comedy because a writer from the New Yorker called him out for making up stories. That's what we do. That's what we do. We tell stories and then we embellish them. And it's like, listen, if you're gonna hold a comic to the point where you're gonna check up on their stories, you have to understand, a lot of it is not the exact thing that happened, because why would we tell exactly what happened? It ain't that interesting. There's information that we will give you as comics that will have grains of truth, but, you know, don't take it to the bank.
And that's, and that's what he said. He said specifically, every story in my style is built around a seed of truth.
Yes, you know, and that's our job. A seed of truth, sometimes the truth, and sometimes total BS.
But here's the real problem. I don't care if Hasan Minhaj is making stuff up if the goal is to make us laugh. But comedians like him are jumping back and forth between comedian and commentator, playing by two sets of rules at once. When they want to push social change and not be particularly funny, they're commentators. When they're caught lying, they're comedians. You can't be both. If we're going to be dumb enough to build and rebuild society based on what a comedian says about the state of our country, then what they're saying needs to be based on truth. Instead, how about this? Go to comedians for laughs and look elsewhere for moral guidance. Remember, just because it's funny doesn't mean it's true.